After the introduction of Ferrari's first mass-produced convertible, the 250 GT PF Cabriolet, made between 1957 and 1962, the master coach builder Sergio Scaglietti was again asked to build a convertible using the race-proven and stiffer 1956 Ferrari 250 TDF chassis. The wheelbase was 2,600mm or 102.4 inch, creating one of the most beautiful Ferrari ever produced and thus one of the sexiest sports car ever made. This now legendary 1956 Ferrari is the 250 GT California Spyder LWB for long wheelbase, named after the market that it was intended for. The idea behind this new convertible came from John von Neumann and Luigi Chinetti. These two North American Ferrari importers convinced Enzo Ferrari that a niche market existed for a sportier and more exclusive convertible in the North American market. The design was inspired by Pininfarina's 1957 all-hand-built Ferrari 250 GT PF Cabriolet Series 1, not to be confused with the second series. This new stallion was produced with or without plexiglass covered headlights, and the traditional egg-crate grille could adorn the optional extra driving lamps inserted at each side. A hood scoop swallowed cool air into the 3 twin-choke Weber carburetor set, and the front fender's side air vent opening were fitted with 3 slats on this long wheelbase model. The windshield was as rackish as the first series 250 PF Cabriolet, and it also had an ultra-thin chrome frame around it without side window vents. The rear fenders had a raised shoulder line, and the rear taillights were vertically slanted, as seen later on Peugeot 404 coupes and others of that era, including the MGB, which was not a Pininfarina design. The rear displayed the traditional 4 exhaust pipes, and to complete this late 50s design, the California Spyder was fitted with Borrani wire wheels. Also offered was the optional and now very rare fiberglass hardtop. The engine was the 3-liter or 180 cubic inch V12 Colombo, developing 240 horse at 7,000 rpm with the help of the 3 Weber carburetors. The engine was then mated to a 4-speed transmission, and higher specification cams could be ordered, boosting the power up to 280 horse. The interior had 2 main Veglia dials behind a wooden Nardi steering wheel, and a series of 5 smaller gauges were placed at the center of the dashboard, with a rear view mirror planted just above them on the dash itself. In 1960, the even more desirable Ferrari 250 GT California Spyder SWB for short wheelbase made its debut. This latest California Spyder was based on the shorter chassis also found on the iconic 250 GT short wheelbase. This stiffer and more predictable 2,400mm or 94.5 inch wheelbase chassis gave the new Scaglietti masterpiece a more compact and sportier look. The front independent suspension had double wishbone and coil springs, while the rear had a live rear axle with spring lifts, the same as the California Spyder long wheelbase. But now front disc brakes replaced the drum units, adding some more sportiness to the mix. As with the long wheelbase California, the short wheelbase was available with or without covered headlights, and aside from a 8-inch or 20cm shorter chassis, the only distinct features between them came from the side front fender's air vents, now having 2 vertical slats instead of 3, and from the recessed hood scoop entry instead of the flush long wheelbase design. The interior's 2 main Veglia dial pod receive a rounder sun visor design, but aside from that, the dashboard layout remained the same, to the pleasure of many. Top speed performance reached 140 miles per hour or 225 km per hour, and around 6.5 seconds to get to 62 miles per hour for the long wheelbase, while the short wheelbase was marginally faster. The short wheelbase was nimbler and the better balanced car of the two. It also was the most harmonious to look at, especially in its covered headlight form. In 1963, the production of the magnificent Ferrari 250 GT California Spyder short wheelbase ended, with 125 California produced, including 12 lightweight alloy racer, which contributed to the legend of one of the most beautiful Ferrari ever produced.